hope you enjoy this yoga video that I've made. I created it with complete beginners in mind, so somebody that doesn't have much yoga experience or familiarity with the postural names or terminology, just someone who has a short amount of time and wants to try yoga from the comfort of their home. Let me know if you like it or you would like to see more content from me, or come visit me at one of my classes. All my information will be in the bio below somewhere. Okay, if you like any of the movements in this sequence, feel free to add more breaths or more repetitions in your own time. Also, feel free to have blankets nearby if you have a firm floor and you need more support for your knees. Have blocks nearby if you need more height for your hands for any of the poses that I offer with the hands on the floor. Also a cushion nearby is really nice to sit on if you find sitting on the floor too uncomfortable. So with that said, let's begin. So come to hands and the knees, the shoulders stacked over the wrists, the hips stacked over the knees. Your feet can be flat, tops of the feet to the floor or tucked under, whatever makes you feel more supported and comfortable. Take a deep inhale, see if you can straighten the arms, exhale there. Drop the chin and relax through the neck. A lot of yoga is about building stability in the bigger joints and trying to isolate other parts and relax them. So here I'm just relaxing the neck, but I'm trying to straighten the arms. Notice the foundations of the knees, the hands, the feet. I'm pressing through my tips of my fingers and the base of the fingers and the heel of the hand. And now I'm going to tip the hips up, let the belly drop. And let the shoulders draw back as I lift the chin. This is cow pose. And exhale, reverse that movement. Begin to tuck the tailbone under. Lift the belly away from the ground and the chest. Let the chin drop. Okay, let's take a couple more. So almost let the movement ripple up the spine, starting with the tailbone and ending gently with the chin. And then tuck the tailbone. As you lift the back round, let the chin drop. Okay, let's flatten off the feet and we're going to send our hips back towards the feet, walk the fingers forward. This is called child's pose. And it's a pose you can come to at any point during yoga classes if you feel like you just need to regain your energy or find some grounding. If this feels too much on the knees, perhaps you might prefer to come higher with the knees and walk the hands further forward. You'll still get the same stretch through the shoulders, or you can always rest the head on a block, so it alleviates a little bit of the pressure through the shoulders. Breathe deep into the side ribs. Use your exhale to let the corset of the waist draw in, bringing awareness to the deep core muscles. Okay, so shift your weight backwards as you draw the hands back to all fours. Let's just bring awareness to the wrists. Let's lean into the left hand and bring the wrists into flexion. Let's just stretch out through the front of the wrist there. So I'm spreading the weight evenly between both hands, but enjoying that stretch. You can make a little claw, which intensifies things, or release. Swap sides. This is an important stretch, I feel, to go back to every now and then, because there's a lot of hyperextension of the wrists against the floor in yoga classes. So you're always welcome to do the opposite movement if it feels good, especially if you work at a desk all day with the hands in a certain position. Okay, so into thread the needle, which is a really nice twist. You're going to bend your right elbow, and as you exhale, draw the left arm through. So you're sending your left shoulder towards the floor and the side of your head towards the floor. Don't worry if they don't touch the floor like mine. You're just feeling your first twist of the practice. You can put your right hand forward if you want to. And take a few breaths. Stay for as long as you wish. And then we will come out by drawing the right hand back. Press through the hand to come up. Inhale. And exhale, draw the right arm through. Rest the head and the shoulder if possible. The hand can stay here, the left one for support, or you can bring it forward for an additional stretch. And then when you're finished, bring the left hand back, come back out. Back to all fours. So bring the knees together now. And then extend the right leg back. I'm just going to move my blankets out of the way. Tuck the toes under. And you can't see my foot there, but I'm pressing. I'll go forward so you can see. Pressing the ball of the foot under under the toes, and then I'm shifting the weight back. I'm actually pushing back to stretch out the calf, draw the lower belly in, push the floor away with the hands, and now shift your weight forward into the hands and lift the leg. Nice strong leg, point the foot, and take a few little circles with a straight leg, and then change direction, opposite way. And then bend the knee, bring it down. Okay, round the back, and then go back to a neutral back. Left foot, send the heel back with the toes tucked under, push, push, push. Enjoy the stretch in your calf muscle, ease off if it's too much. Now shift the weight forward, lift the leg just in line with your own hip height, no higher, and take a few circles. And then go the opposite way. Okay, bring the knees back together. Tuck the toes under, come off of the hands, so we'll give our wrists a break. Let's go hip width with the knees. And then let the hands drop down by the side. So your toes can be tucked under or flat. Feel the foundation, if your feet are like mine, under the shins, under the tops of the feet. Feel like you're squeezing a block gently between the knees. And we're going to inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, send your hips forward. 2 more times. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, send your hips forward. Not a lot of movement will happen, but you'll sure feel it on the fronts of your hip flexors here if you're tucking the tailbone under and pressing the hips forward. One more last time. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, send the hips gently forward. Okay, come back down to the hands and the knees. Let's bring the knees together now. So you're going to let your right shin go out to the right and have your right hand, your right knee, and then extend the left leg with the foot flat to the floor, all in a line. Have the weight distributed evenly. And this top hand can stay down and you can roll the shoulder open. Or you can lift up through the left arm and just really enjoy this stretch. Make sure you've got foundation of this back foot against the floor. And breathe into this opening. Feel a sense of lifting. At the same time, you've got a nice foundation grounding in each point of contact with the floor. And then exhale, come down. Bring the knees back together. I'll show you the other side from the front. So I'm going to put my knees together. Left hand, left knee, left shin out to the side, and then my right foot all in a line. And you can actually send your hips forward, pressing forward. That makes it a little bit more intense. If you stick the bottom back, it's not so much pressure in the top side line here. Okay, so when you're ready, you can come open with the top shoulder. Let the right arm extend up. Feel a sense of lifting. At the same time, nice strong bottom arm. Another option, if you want to, if you don't enjoy bring the hand up, is to keep the bottom hand on the floor and then round the back. This is also a nice version. And then bring the knees back together once you're finished. Okay, we'll come back to all fours. Okay, just gently sway the hips side to side. Now lean into the left side as we bring the right foot forward into a right side lunge. Now at first you can stack the knee over the ankle so you feel quite square and balanced with your foundation. And then you can walk the right foot forward if you want to increase the sense of stretch across the front of the hip flexor here. So we'll take 3 breaths. Inhale, lift the arms, extend. Exhale, you can bring the hips back, hands down. Inhale, lean the hips forward. And exhale, hips back, hands down. One more time. Feel a sense of lifting from the ribs and the chest and the arms. Inhale, you can look forward though. And exhale, hips go back, hands to the floor. Let's go into the left side. Okay. So again, make sure you're comfortable. I like to have the foot, knee and hip in line. The same for the other leg. There's usually a bit of space in between my feet and knee, so I'm not wobbling. Find that for yourself. And then inhale. Actually, I'm going to walk my left foot forward so I can increase the bend in the front knee. And exhale, hands down, the hips can go back. Again, inhale, chest up, send the hips forward. Exhale, hips can come back. And then inhale and exhale. Great. So stay on this side. Put your right hand on the front of the right knee. Feel like this left hip is drawing down, so you're stretching the left side, but lift the chest. And as you exhale, we'll twist towards the left side. This hand can stay down, the left arm, or you can choose to open it. You can look forward in the same line as your chest, or you can look across to the left hand, up to you. After a few breaths, drop the hand, look forward, and then we'll shift into the right side, lean into the left knee, go back to the right side. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, twist. Rest the left hand on the knee. And then as you use your breath, you can open more. You can even shift the gaze. You're using your muscles to stay steady and balanced, and your breath to stay calm. And exhale, bring the hand down. Let's look forward. Bring the hands down. And then put the hands back to the floor, tuck the toes under and drive the weight back. See if you can lift up the knees. The knees can stay bent, but keep sending your hips back into this down dog variation. So you can choose to straighten up the legs. The heels can be off the floor, or you might be able to send the heels towards the floor. Either way, take a few breaths. However it looks, doesn't matter. Just feel the stretch through the shoulders. And then we'll step forward with the feet, or perhaps walk the hands back. Let's bend the knees and we'll come halfway up. So let's keep the knees bent, rest the elbows on the knees, send your bottom back and send your chest forward, shoulders back. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Your hands can be quite relaxed. And then we can either stay here or we can intensify this movement by sending the tailbone under a little bit, bend the knees more and lift the arms into a chair posture. You can look forward or you can look up to you. A couple more breaths. Feel like your knees are tracking over your middle toe. And then hands can come down and you can come back up to standing. Just give the legs a little bit of a shake out. And then I will step forward. So I'm facing you. Have your feet hip width apart. Okay, rest your right hand on your right hip, wherever feels most stable. And then we're going to bring the left arm up in the air. Reach up. And send your left hip over to the side. Keep a micro bend in the knees and we'll take a lateral flexion. Also, we're really stretching this left side. We're using this bent arm for support with your weight. You can choose to go as deep into this as you feel is serving you. After you've had enough, bend the knees and go forward and come out with ease. Come back up. Great, let's do the other side. Left hand on the left hip. Inhale, the palm is facing inwards towards the center line, reach up. And as you exhale, send the hip over to the side and enjoy the stretch this direction. Again, it's tempting to lock out the knees, but try to keep a micro bend so you're not leaning into the back of the joint too much. And then we can bend the knees to come out. Okay, let's inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet, balance. Exhale, come back down. See if you can shift your weight back into the heels, lift the toes. And then we'll do a couple more of these. I'll go to the side so you can see exactly what I mean. Inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, back into the heels, lift the toes. You can even add the arms if you want to. Find a point to focus on with your gaze. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come back down. Last time, inhale, reach up, balance. Exhale, come back down. Bring the feet together. Another favorite of mine is to actually stretch the front of the shin and the toes so you can step the right leg back. At first, you can tuck the toes under and then challenge yourself to point the foot. See if you can rest the front of the toes on the floor and then strengthen both legs and send those hips forward and the chest up and see if you can feel a gentle stretch on the front of the whole front side of the right leg. And then you can bend the knees, release. Let's do the left side, step back, tuck the toes under, find your balance, and then really strengthen up the leg, lift the chest. The arms can go gently back if you want to. And then release. Okay, staying with this feeling of stepping back, let's put the right foot back as far as you can make the stance work for you and go onto the ball of the feet, bend the front knee and we'll take it into a deeper lunge. or a warrior one variety. Sometimes you'll hear that term in yoga classes. So let's bring the arms up, inhale. Stay here for a few breaths. And then bring your right heel in, so you turn the back foot out and the hips will go off slightly. Open the arms, let them come down, parallel the floor, and shift your gaze to your left middle finger. Hold here for a moment. Let the back hand drop down, turn the front palm up, and then reach up. Enjoy that lift. You can even bring the back hand round if you want to feel more stretch through the back shoulder. You can even take the thigh if you've got a really deep shoulder movement there. And then release the back hand, straighten your front leg. Reach forward through the left arm, hand down. Turn your right shoulder and the right arm raises up. Take a few breaths here. You can shift your gaze to the top hand or look down if you need for the balance. And then we'll bring the hands down and we'll step to the front before we do the left side. So again, left foot goes back onto the toes, right knee bends, and keep the back leg nice and strong. You decide how deep you want to go into the lowering down. Try to keep the back leg strong. Find the balance on the toes, the arms are up after a few breaths here. We'll then turn the back heel in, open the arms. The chest will naturally move out to the left now, but shift your gaze to the right middle finger. Breathe. Turn the top palm up, let the bottom hand come down. Up, reach. The back hand can come around if you want. And then release the back hand after a few breaths. The front leg straightens, you reach forward, and then we land wherever the hand needs to be. Turn the chest, and we're in a triangle variety. Breathe deep. If any of this feels too much at any point, just pause and go back or skip the parts. You should start to feel fairly warm. Bring the hand out. You can bend this front knee to come back to the front of your mat. Okay, and let's take some balancing now. So let's bring the feet together. Take an inhale and an exhale. Let the arms just hang. And we're going to bend the right knee. And without moving the pelvis or the body side to side, we're going to try and stay quite static with the body. We're just going to open the hip joint. So just feel where your natural hip opening is. And then we'll bring the hands to heart center or just on the chest and encourage your chest to lift while the shoulders drop. You can stay here, or you can take the next option, which is to send the foot to the inner shin and balance. Gaze softly at one place in front of you. Let the eyes rest on that point. This gaze is called drishti, which you might hear that term in yoga classes, a Sanskrit term where you focus the eyes, your gaze, your drishti. So you can also have the foot higher if you already have open hips. Otherwise, let's lift the knee and bring the foot back down. Let's take the other side. Bend the knee, inhale. Exhale, open the hip. Begin 5 or so breaths. Or you can change the foot to the inner shin if you feel like you're trusting your balance. Relax. And then when you're ready, lift the foot and come back out. So if you have a clear wall space in your house somewhere, then take this stretch. It's really nice for the shoulders. So I'll show you from the side what I would do. I'd put my hands about shoulder width apart against the wall and then walk the feet back. And then you're going to almost send your palms against the wall like you're pushing the wall. And as you send the hips back, you let the head drop. It's almost like a downward dog shape, but you're against the wall. Draw the lower belly in slightly, and you can encourage the hips to travel back to feel more lengthening. You can stay here for as long as you wish. Keep a micro bend in the knees, so again, you don't lock out through the legs. And when you're ready, you can bend the knees round the back and come back out. So I mean this sort of position against a wall. This is a really great stretch any time in the day. Okay, come back out. So let's make our way to seated. We will gently bring the right leg back, put the knee down, and then the other knee down, back to all fours. Take one more cat-cow inhale, And exhale, back to child's pose. And then you can bring your knees round so you're sitting on the floor. At this point, you might prefer to sit up on a block so your hips are higher. I'll just demonstrate that version. I like to roll the hips slightly forward off the block, or you can be sitting on a cushion, knees can be bent or straight. And then take an inhale. Draw the toes back towards the head and exhale, fold forward. Let your body respond naturally to how your back wishes to take this position. Maybe you prefer to round the back, or maybe you can encourage a lift of the chest and sending the chest forward for a flatter back. If you are very deep in the fold, you can take the sides of the feet and gently draw the armpits back so you feel a sense of connection. Drop through the head, and then we can inhale, come back up. Exhale, hands to the floor. So for the purpose of demonstration, I'll come off the block now. You can stay on that for as long as you wish. So counter poses, let's point the feet, let's lean back with the hands and lift the chest, take extension here. Exhale there. Another option, if you feel like you want to increase your strength in the arms, but also open the shoulders a little bit, is send your feet forward and then drive the hips forward as you lift them. You can take this for 5 to 10 breaths. When you're ready, if you've gone very high, you can let the head draw back. Feel free to bring the hips down and the head forward. Lastly, take another counter pose forward. Inhale, sit tall. Let's bend the right knee and let it come out to the side. At this point, if you feel any tightness in the hip, you can support the knee with the hand, or you can place a block underneath, which instantly adds a little bit of relief and allows the hip or the muscles to relax, which in turn is a nicer experience. So don't force things. If your knee naturally goes to the floor, then obviously that's absolutely fine, and enjoy the depth of your range of motion there. So you can add in the forward fold. Perhaps you can reach the foot. If you can't, that's absolutely fine. You can come back. You can have this straight leg bent as well. Okay, come up, inhale. Exhale there. Let's bring the left hand round to the front. Hold the knee. Inhale, sit tall. And exhale, gently twist. So your chest is facing this knee. Breathe. Perhaps relax some of the joints now. Relax both legs. And then come back to the center. Let's bring the knee in. Go straight legs. Other side. Bend the knee first. Now let the hip open. See if you can walk the foot to your inner thigh. It might even be the inner knee or the inner shin. Whichever feels best for you. Again, you can have the block underneath the knee. Inhale, tall. Perhaps you stay tall. Perhaps you add in the forward fold. Prioritize smooth breathing. If you find you're holding the breath or you feel too tense, then perhaps you need to ease off the pose a little. And then we'll come back up. Exhale, right hand on the front of the knee. And the left hand can come behind. Just enjoy the stretch. Perhaps we'll relax the legs a little bit now. And then come back to the front. When you're ready, remove the block out the way. And then let's turn to the side. Into boat pose now. So I'm going to hold behind my knees, lean back. See if you become light on the toes. Perhaps you can lift the feet and then add in a lift of the chest if possible. If this feels relatively manageable for you, you could release the arms. You could even straighten the legs. All options. When you've taken 5 or so breaths, cross those ankles, bring them back in. And then we'll take a moment of rounding the back, let the head drop in. Inhale, lift the chest. Let's bring the hands behind us again and the feet hip width apart out in front. And then we'll feel like we're sending the feet forward as we open the chest and drive the hips gently up for a moment. And then exhale, let them come back down. And then counter pose, wrap your arms around the shins, let the head drop in. Let's bring the feet forward, scoot the hips forward and then lay down onto the back. Take a nice inhale and exhale there. Let the shoulders roll back to the floor, bend the knees, feet hip width or wider to the floor. See if you can just touch the heels with the fingertips. I like to pick up my hips and then tuck the tailbone under for a moment as I just feel the spine as flat to the floor as I can. Take an inhale. As you exhale, press through the feet and drive the hips back up into a bridge pose. Just open, stay for a few breaths, keep sending those feet forward. Exhale, come back down. Let's do 2 more. Perhaps you can bring the palms to the floor this time. Keep the shoulders opening towards the floor as the chest feels broad. Inhale or exhale, up into the posture. Exhale, come back down. Last one. If you feel like your hips have gone quite high and you can open the chest towards the back of your mat, you could perhaps interlace the fingers underneath you to feel an increased stretching across the shoulders as well. So again, I like to inhale here, press the feet, and exhale, send the hips up, interlace the hands, and then drive your chest towards the back of the room. And then come back down. You can now hug your knees and cross the shins. Rock side to side. Lastly, let's just let the feet just go towards the ceiling. You can take a few circles with the ankles here. Your knees might be bent. Straight legs might feel too much in the hamstrings or wherever you feel any tightness, that's absolutely fine. If you don't need to hold the backs of the thighs, you can have the hands on the floor. Just let the feet hover in space for a few moments. And then bend the knees, let the feet come back down. So now you can have the knees wide with the feet, soles of the feet together for a few moments here. You can lift the chest. And then you can relax the chest back down, the spine flat to the floor. You can bring the knees together. Let's cross the ankles. Let's bring the head up, forehead towards the knees. Rock back and roll up to seated. This might take a couple of goes. It just requires a little bit of momentum and core engagement. And then we will come back to seated. So seated, whatever feels best for you. It can be wide legs. It can be crossed legs if that's an option. Remember, you can use the blocks under your knees. Perhaps you want to sit up on a cushion. You can even have the feet to the floor. So you may have noticed the lighting has changed somewhat. My phone died and I had to go out, but I'm back. And let's continue where we left off. So I think we were somewhere like here with the spine tool. So I basically want you to find a position that you feel comfortable and able to breathe freely. I'm just going to fold my legs in. And feel free to retain your warmth, grab a blanket. Invite your cat to come and sit with you. Take an inhale and an exhale. So really all the movement that you've just done previous to this was all a prerequisite for this part. We're just warming up the joints, warming up the body so that we can sit still for longer. So perhaps the hips and the shoulders feel happy, perhaps we've let go of a little bit of tension. And from here, let's just focus on the breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, let the chest lift. Exhale, let the chin drop so the back of the neck lengthens. Just feel like you're breathing into the side ribs. You can even place the hands here if that helps you to expand. And don't forget, you can use your core to expel the air. So as well as expanding, you then want to exhale, draw in, empty out. You can let the hands drop back into the lap. You can close the eyes or keep them open, focusing on a point in front of you. Just take this time to release your normal duties, let them go, just be here. Notice or observe your surroundings. There's no need to change anything. Almost as though everything for this moment in time is perfect. Nothing needs to change. This is just as everything should be. Release the muscles in the jaw. Relax the forehead, even the hairline, the inner ears, the deep muscles in the cheekbones. Stay here for as long as you wish. After you've taken a certain amount of breaths, just deepen the breathing once again. Bring the hands to your center. Perhaps you prefer to put the hands to the top of the forehead or the third eye, as it's referred to in yoga. And you can just set an intention or just feel that connection. Otherwise, you can leave the hands in the lap. I'll close with the sacred sound of Om and the 3 Shantis, meaning peace in Sanskrit. So feel free to exhale if you don't want to join in, but I take the inhale now. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I bow to you. Thank you so much for joining me. And so from here you can stay in your meditative seated pose and just be here for as long as feels right to you. Or you can gently keep that quiet state of mind, release your legs, lay down and take rest for as long as you need.